here is Lord Thaddeus Cray. And this one is actually by popular demand. Cryptid. That's right. I'm doing a cryptid this time. I have one on mental health coming up, but that's going to be next week. What is this cryptid going to be? It is going to be about the SnallyGaster. I know the name is kind of... yeah. Anyway, I believe it was introduced in Maryland, or somewhere in that area, in the early 1700s, by German immigrants. Its name means quick ghost, or something like that. But what I do know about it is it's basically a large flying cryptid with tentacles. And basically the hair of like a bird or some type of monster. And like I said, tentacles and wings. Yeah, Cthulhu, anybody? Yeah, well, of course, Cthulhu didn't exactly have that kind of head. His is more like an octopus, but anyway. It is supposedly a creature that is a chimera, which, of course, what is a chimera? Well, if you don't know what that is, then I'll tell you. It is a hodgepodge of different creatures stuffed into one. Kind of like the Greek myth of the chimera. It is a creature that supposedly had like the head of a dragon, or something like that, and I want to say goat, lion, all in one creature. And of course, the body was like that of a lion, had the tail of had the tail of a scorpion. There may be a manicore. Could be getting my critters wrong here, but it's along those lines. It's a chimera. That's what the SnallyGaster is. Literally, supposedly, 7-pointed stars are supposed to be what repels these ugly things. And it supposedly ensnares you in its tentacles and flies off with you and drains you of all blood. Isn't that just beautiful? No, it's not. But anyway, moving on to my point here. I've done things on flying cryptids before, but this one actually struck me interesting enough to do a video on it, and definitely the theories that are tied to it. This creature, I'm not going to say it's old world. I could be wrong. I mean, it might be very old world. But you have to understand something. Technology's been around a lot longer than people really think or are aware of. I'm telling you that now. Do I think it's possible that maybe something that was cobbled together by technology or what we would call magic and released into the world? I wouldn't be surprised one bit. It's possible that basically some drunk sailor cooked up something and, because they had too much free time on their hands, and there you go. But I think it was definitely something beyond that. I definitely, as I say so many times, there's always a fact behind the fantasy. I definitely believe it could be some kind of animal that got mistaken for a cryptid, or, more likely, a true one, a chimera. It was also introduced, the legend was kind of updated or upgraded later on to kind of scare off any attempts for slaves to either escape or free themselves. Isn't that just lovely? But anyway, moving from that foolishness. There are many, many types of such creatures. Of course, you guys already know I did a video on flying cryptids many months ago, long time ago, maybe even up to a year ago. But I do know one thing. This thing probably exists, much like the chupacabra or other kinds of vampiric monsters. I wouldn't be surprised if it's definitely something not normal. I mean, because the description of this thing is not natural. Well, I think it could be demonic. Well, obviously. I mean, obviously, there's something that wants to do harm to you, and a 7-pointed star actually repels it. Yeah, something's up with that. I'm just saying, something's up with that. Now, you have to understand, a lot of people back then were extremely superstitious. That's no new news right there. None whatsoever. But I'm telling you right now, there's something flying around that was the basis for this old folk tale, which I think is more than that. And just the name, Quick Ghost, that in itself is kind of frightening. Like really scary in its own right. Excuse me. So, I'm just going to leave it at that. This is a cryptid that I never even thought about. Like I said, people in the live chat with Sean's show was like, this creature, and I was like, you know what? Hell yeah. So, this is my response. The SnallyGaster, I believe, is, like I said, most likely demonic. It could be old world, but, it may be, actually, because of, the old legends of Chimera, and obviously things like that being based on some kind of research, some kind of forbidden research or experimentation going on back then. It could be very old world. I don't know. But I definitely think it's something that definitely needs to be left alone. And I wouldn't be surprised if Uncle Sam has been tinkering with it, like anything else. It's kind of like Big Homie says, BW. It's either usually old world or kind of this world, or it's been cooked up in a lab, or it's the other, demonic. This thing, I think, may be all three. Just saying. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. You guys know what I do. I'm the producer for, the Dark Waters brand. You guys know the shows in which I produce for. Whether it be a cryptid experience or encounter you've had, or a, ghost, supernatural, paranormal, whatever it is. Hell, it could be a shadow man or anything like that. And actually, Sean has been looking for people who have had, who are of indigenous knowledge or aboriginal knowledge. Of course, those things are kind of taboo, so I understand about the need to be careful. I respect that. Believe me. So if you ain't want to answer this, I totally get it. I don't want anyone to put themselves at risk. But if someone is willing to and brave enough, I would definitely love to hear their story and definitely give you the chance to share your story and your encounter. My email is westvic@dogmancams.com. Also, you know who I am in Facebook. You know my channel. Leave something in the comments. I'd love to hear. Let me know. And of course, I'm also Thaddeus Cray on Reddit. There's no, it's Thaddeus with one D. K-R-A-Y is my last, You guys already know the drill on this. It's kind of old hat if you get my drift. My point is this. If you want to share these things, tell me. Hit me up, and I'll make sure you get the chance. You guys be blessed and you be safe.